Okay, so it is the 4th of November, just gone 8 o'clock at night. I thought I'd just give you a quick update. Well, I haven't really done an update. If you watched the last YouTube video I did, you've seen I entered on AU and NZD USD. I just want to update you on those trades now, just because if you haven't watched that video yet, you would have seen that I've got funded on the 10K and I've taken the two 20K accounts from first pass to second pass. So now I'm trading second pass for those two 20Ks at the moment while I'm still waiting for the risk assessment team to give me my active account for the funded 10K. But I'm already floating 5%. I'll put up a screenshot of what I've just taken off my phone on the screen so you can see I'm already floating the $1,000 that I need to make to pass second pass or second phase for the 20K. However, because the 5%ers have this rule that I need to do half percent on three separate days minimum, I can't just close all the trades now because it'll still count as 5% for one day. Then I'll still need to make half percent on two separate days. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close EU now. Reason being for closing EU. Well, when I say EU, I did actually enter EU after that video, which if you were following me on Instagram, you'll be able to see because I couldn't put that on the end of that video because at the time I wasn't quite ready to take that trade. I mentioned it in the last video, so again, if you guys haven't watched it, then go back and watch that video after this one just so you can see what I mean, so it's less confusing. But overall, EU, AU, entered USD on one account, then it was AU, NU, and GU on a different account, which is there on that account, right? So on the account that you can see that's been posted on the screen, as you can see, I've got EU. I'm going to close EU now, and I'll put a screenshot up of that trade closed and the back end where you can see it on the chart on the little dotted line. You can see it closed. So let me go to 5%ers and refresh my screen. Right, so as you can see, I've closed Euro USD for a win of $263. So that's just over 1% gain for that account. Obviously, I need to make five. So I've closed that trade on the 4th of November. My plan is to then close potentially, depending how price is playing out and how much price retraces, AU tomorrow on the 5th, and hopefully close NU or whatever makes more sense on the 6th, right? So then I'll have my half percent gain for the three separate days, which also hopefully have over 5% gain overall over those three trade closes to get past phase two and then be funded on that 20K account. So it's a bit annoying because obviously if you're floating 5% and that's your profit target, I can just hit close all and make the 5% straight away. But life doesn't work that way, and I need to hit my minimum trading days or three profitable days. So it says zero right now because it hasn't closed the end of the day yet. So tomorrow at midnight or midnight tonight, I'll hit refresh and it'll say one out of three. And then I'll close one of AU or NU next to get my two out of three. So hopefully that's a bit makes more sense. But also, if you've been following my Instagram, you kind of see the step by step progression of these trades anyway. So it's just a bit frustrating that you have to do it that way, but that's their rules. It is what it is. But hopefully, price continues to follow the downwards trend. The reason why I closed EU is because it's reacting, it's the closest to my point of interest of where I'm expecting price to potentially react from. So the last thing I want to do is for price to sort of hit this, not quite take me out, and then get all the way back here and then do something like that, where I can just take the profit of the table now, secure that, and I have way more wiggle room on AU and NZD USD anyway, right? So for me, potentially what it's looking like is I'll probably close NZD USD tomorrow rather than AU because I still think AU has a bit to fall before we get there. So that gives me the best chances of one, hitting my 5% overall, and two, still getting my trade breakdowns enough to get me past the 5%, if that makes sense. Let's have a look what we got here. If you have a look on the left-hand side, you can see the DXY again is keep pushing up. It's now hitting my red line of taking out this high. It can push higher, but I am expecting if price does push past, I'm expecting some sort of consolidation, potentially retracement to the downside, and then a continuation to the upside again. But that's going to take a few days, a few weeks. So again, do I really want to sit through phase two for all of that? Or do I want to try and get out of it as fast as possible and then wait for all that to go and then trade my funded account when price is trending again? That's my overall thought process. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully tomorrow I can give you another update of one of those trades that I've closed again. But again, another update, USD Swissy. Already closed this for phase one, but you can see it hit overall target for 1 to 2, and it looks like it's going to push a lot higher over here as well. So again, it's nice to know that that overall trade is making great moves. Obviously, GU we already seen on the last video that my overall target was here beneath these double lows, and that has been hit. And EU, my last trade, as you can see here, for 1 to 2 again, is very close to hitting TP. So that's why I closed this one again, because this is my overall TP, hence why when I entered in the second position for phase two of the 20Ks, I just wanted to play it safe and get it out because it's only about 17 pips away. So that could happen overnight when I'm asleep, and then it can retrace all the way back up again. So just playing it safe, closing that for now. And again, keeping GU open just because it's still got quite a bit of distance to go before it gets to my point of interest. And if it does hit that, that's a great gain on my account for the other 20K as well. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense, guys. Again, if these hit TP and that hits TP, it's going to be one of those annoying things. If they hit TP at the same time on the same day, I'm going to be way more than what I need, 5% to pass, but I'm still not going to pass because it's happened on the same day. So I've got to be kind of smart about this and close them before they're fully ready to go to TP just to get those 3 separate days. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'll update you shortly. So good news, I am now funded on, well, I have passed phase two, kind of. Let me explain why. It is the 6th of November and it's just 2 minutes to 8. So where were we last time? I couldn't really remember what I did last time, so let's just go over the trade. So AU right now has pushed down. I have closed this second trade here. Obviously, I never let the obvious longer trade play out. I closed that as well because that was to pass phase two on another account. So I closed these trades short just because I'm over the profit target and I didn't need to hit them. I needed to play it smart. I needed to get rid of those 3 minimum days of 0.5% per day to get past phase two. So I have done that today, hence why I closed this trade early, because I was floating over my profit limit and life was good. So if you remember, I closed NU early and NU's doing great. I closed AU today, which I'll go over, and I believe I closed EU early as well. As I said, look, it was near somewhere where I was expecting a retracement on this trade, and it was near it, and it hasn't actually hit it, and we've got that retracement. So if you have a look on the left hand side, you see the DXY. We have swept this high now, so I'm expecting some sort of retracement to happen to this area potentially and move higher. That's what I'm roughly expecting, but again, time will tell. And I didn't want to be in this overall retracement and then overall big move again. I'd rather just get rid of the phase two while I can. So hence why I scaled into this and kept my positions, not my real positions open, because remember I closed them all to get past phase one, and now I've closed them again to get past phase two. So let's just go on the back end of the fivers. You'll be able to see. Let me refresh it just so you can see that it's real. You can see, obviously, I got 2 days, 2 out of 3 profitable days, but I've actually got 3 out of 3 because it won't update until the end of today. But if you have a look at closed trades, the 4th of November, the 5th of November, and the 6th of November, EU, NU, AU. Again, not massive gains. That was just over 1%. That was just over 2%. And that was roughly just over 3%. Maybe slightly less. Maybe 1 point something, 2%, and then 1 point something. So either way, all I needed was 5%, which is $1,000. Obviously, I've hit that. I've hit $1,061 in 3 trades. Average time trade was 21 hours, 44 minutes. This doesn't really give you much data feedback, to be honest, just because it's a 100% win rate, and we know that's not the reality of the situation. I'll go over a trade I closed in a loss in a second on a different account. Um, but yeah, so that's the back end of that. So now I am funded on the 20K account. So we have recently got funded on 10K. Now I'm funded on 20K. And now I'm in phase two in profit on a 20K. So let me get onto that 20K now. Let me show you. Just here. You can see I took a small loss on GU. I'm still holding AU at the moment, and I have trailed stop loss into profit just above this daily high. Just let it load. Just above this daily high here. So if it does close me out, it will be closing me out in profit. But by the looks of it, price is going to continue to move down. I did close NU early as well for the same reason of I didn't want to be in a retracement long term and then get the big move. I just want to get those annoying free minimum profitable days done, and then I can just look for decent setups. But it's an annoying feature, but it is what it is. So this was GU that I closed just because I didn't like how it was looking on the 4 hour time frame. Have a look on the 4 hour time frame. It's quite impulsive. You can see the MACD indicator gaining a lot of volume. I was hoping for a rejection. I kind of got that, and then we decided to get this huge rejection to the downside. So when I saw this candle close on a 4 hour time frame around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I just manually closed my position, purely because of that rejection. Now, if it closed bearish, I probably would have held on a 4 hour, but as price was in my point of interest, it looked quite impulsively upside. I looked at the DXY and it looked quite bearish, as in not overall bearish, but the price action it was displaying right now was bearish. I just took a small loss. So if you have a look, I took a small loss of just over 1% on that trade. Maybe just 2 point or 1.2 ish, maybe percent loss on that trade, which I'll rather have because I already closed a trade that was 4% in profit. So now I'm roughly sitting at, oh God, I don't know, a small percentage in profit. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Well, sorry, I closed the trade in 2% in profit. As you can see here, NZD USD, I closed 2%, just over 2% in profit. So now I am looking at 0.66% closed profit. Again, equity is sitting at just under 3%. So if AU continues to play out and continues to move to the downside, then we're in for a good chance of getting the amount we need. Then it's just the annoying thing of having to do another day where I finish in profit of 0.5% at least just to get past and funded on phase two. So that's a bit of a mouthful, but overall, I'm now funded 30K with the 5%ers, and it's only been like a week. So it's been going really well. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the videos or finding them educational in some, well, not educational, but just, I'm not really here to teach. I'm just basically documenting what I'm doing, documenting my journey of how I'm seeing the charts, how I like to play them, how I like to trade with a full-time job, because I'm like the rest of you guys, like, there's nothing special. I trade the daily, weekly, and the bare minimum 4 hour time frame because that's all I have time for. So hopefully you find it helpful because that's the point, right? Okay, so it is the 7th of November, 7:30 at night. Just come back from work and I've entered some new trades. Reason being, as you can see on the left, I can see the sell of the DXY happening. Well, not sell, but like retracement. If you have a look, if I draw the fibs from this swing to this swing, you can see I'm aiming for roughly this area. The grey box is what I really want to get to. You can see on an 8 hour time frame, that big area of supply that created this huge push up. That's roughly where I'm thinking price is going to head to. So again, this is just a retracement play. So what I have done on the right hand side, as you can see, I have closed my my Aussie dollar trade for roughly 1.5%, roughly. I'll put the screenshot up so you can see it when it was closed. And then I entered USD Swissy again on my Instagram. You would have seen me have a pending order there, and then it was triggered. And then I did the same on USD CAD as well. So let me just break down these trades at the moment. So USD Swissy, how did I get in this trade? If I go to the 4 hour time frame, well, really, you can see daily time frame. It came into this area of supply, wicked it, and sold off. So far it's been absolutely beautiful. If I go to lower time frame as well, you can see that we are closing below this area. So I'm predicting this to be my lower high, lower low. And as you can see now, we're starting to put in that bearish structure on the 4 hour time frame to potentially head lower. Where, again, two points of interest down here, ones that haven't been triggered in yet. If I go to the daily time frame, you can see that daily point of interest down here of where I'm seeing where demand could possibly head to. USD CAD. This was beautiful because it looks like it hasn't come back in price yet, but I had this pending as price was down here, and you've seen a 1 hour, it literally just wicked up, tapped me in, and just sold off. So again, another reason why I love the majors is because they got super tight spreads. If I go back to the 4 hour, you can see how it filled that imbalance in perfectly and then just sold off. So again, this price could come to this area of supply and sell off for potentially another setup. But yeah, so that if these trades, right, if these trades close, oh sorry, GU as well. GU waiting for a buy. Reason being, again, I could see sell off. EU was running away from me at the time. EU was like up here. GU was further down. So I was like, okay, EU's kind of gone. GU, I can potentially get in at a better price if I go to the 4 hour time frame. You can see we now got that EMA crossover. We have got bullish, well, almost bullish divergence on the EMAs down here for the MACD, but we got the MACD crossover and we got the volume pushing up for momentum as well. So for me, GU seemed like a good bet. It's going to be a slow one because I think this is just a retracement play, not change a trend. So it could be a slow crawl, but a slow crawl might all I need to get my days passed and funded for the last 20k account, giving me 50k in funding. So if you have a look, this is my funded account now. I've got USD CAD, GU, and USD Swissy open still, so these haven't closed. I'm roughly, if I refresh my screen, floating. What's my equity? 221 pounds or dollars, sorry, in profit at the moment. If I go to my other account, which is this one, you can see I've closed AU, closed it here, give me roughly 2.5% of profit closed, and we are roughly floating almost the 5% what I need. It's just slightly under. So again, over midnight, this will change to 2 out of 3. And then if midnight happens and I'm over my 21,000 profit target, I'll close the rest of those trades, and then that will be phase 2 passed on this account as well. So if I can pass phase 2, that will be 50k overall, and then I'll be moving on to the 60k challenge as well. So really happy with this. Again, this isn't like trend reversal. This is purely just me playing the retracement that I can see with the DXY on the left and pairs against and for the DXY as well. So if I'm seeing bearish DXY, I'm going to be looking for sell setups for the dollar and obviously buy setups, anything against the dollar. So like NU, AU, EU, GU, which is what I've been doing. So I'll update you tomorrow afternoon to see if I can get that passed and get another funded certificate, which would be great. I'll be like 3 funded accounts within a month, which is amazing. So it's been a great run. But yeah, those are my trades so far. Again, AU is closed, open, USD CAD shorts, GU longs, and USD Swissy shorts as well. So far, so good. I'll keep you updated, guys. Okay, it's the Monday, the 10th of November. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm happy to say, there we go, that's better. I'm happy to say that I have passed my last 20k account. So that is now 50k in funding with 5%ers. All I need to do now is obviously wait for my days to end because I need to do 3 out of 3 profitable trades. Really annoying, but it is what it is. So let me just refresh the screen so you can see that it is what I'm saying it is. Overall with this, it's pretty good. Went straight into profit and kind of stayed there, had a little bit of a loss and then carried on. So if I just go to the trades that have closed, just so you can see the dates. Obviously, we closed USD Swissy, USD CAD, and Aussie USD latest. And if I have a look, when I closed it last night on the 7th, which is obviously, well, no, sorry, that's when I opened it. So I closed it last night at 3 o'clock in the morning whilst I was at work. Closed the trades on the 10th of November, right? So closed those trades on the 10th, and that put me over the edge that I needed to do to get funded. I can't really remember where I left the last video off because I filmed it last week. So I kind of forgot where I finished that until I do the editing and probably realized I missed a big chunk. But overall, funded on 10K, funded on 20K, and now after midnight tonight, this will be another funded account, so I should be getting my certificate sometime tonight. So tomorrow's video, when I do an update on some trades, we can go over it. But let's just have a look at the statistics of this account. So you can see total trades 5, total profitable trades 4, 1 loss, give me 80% win rate. Again, fantastic, not normal. I'm really happy if I can get 50, 60% win rate with a 1 to 2 average reward to risk. That's just fantastic for me. Again, I don't really know where the average trade holding time is like under a day because clearly I've held these trades for a few days. If you have a look, opened on the 7th, closed on the 10th, opened on the 3rd, closed on the 7th, opened on the 4th, closed on the 6th, opened on the 3rd, closed on the 5th, right? So clearly these are like 1 to 2 days minimum and so it's potentially 3 days. So not too long of a hold for a swing, trading on a daily time frame. So I'm really happy with that. But obviously, I did close them early just to play the game of getting my minimum days in. That's the only annoying thing with this. Obviously, if it was FTMO, you would just close them all when you hit your profit target floating, and then you'll just do micro trades, like zero point 0.0 lots to get your minimum trading days out the way with. But with this company, you can't. You actually have to make 0.5%. So you just got to play it slightly differently. Obviously to pass. But yeah, overall with that, I'm really happy. Obviously, so we got expectancy 202, which is 1%. Okay, cool. Um, any other thing that's really important? Probably not. Do profit factor 4.56. All right, insane. That's insane. Really happy with that. So overall, great results. I just got to wait for my certificate to come through now, which again will be midnight tonight. But let's just go over the trades that I was doing. Again, left hand side is DXY, right hand side is the trade, obviously going against the DXY or how I'm liking to trade. So let me just zoom in here. I'm in a buy for GU, purely reason being we had this huge impulse to the upside and we huge bearish to the downside on DXY. So I was like, okay. GU looks like it was down here, so it had some room to go to the next area supply, where EU was kind of like already like here-ish, you know. So I didn't. All I had to do was that. There wasn't really that much wiggle room. I am keeping a close eye on this. Don't forget, like the DXY is bullish. It doesn't have to come down to this point of interest. If I go to 8 hour time frame, you can see this is kind of where I'm aiming. If I draw the fibs, you can see that we already reacted up to 50%. So I am expecting some potential price action to maybe move back up, maybe come down, move back up again, then do this. We might have something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Hence, that's what I would like. Well, to be honest, if I wanted to like, I'd like it to just go shoot straight down because that would then shoot straight up. And then life will be good, right? But again, trading doesn't work like that. It's out of my hands. But what I'm seeing on DXY is a retracement. So I am playing the retracement on GU as well. Obviously, it's a bit slow. So if the DXY gets in my point of interest, then I will be very close to closing this, whether I'm in profit or not. I'm just closing it because potentially now we could be looking for buys, especially if I start seeing bullish price action or a lot of volume, bullish volume coming into the market in this point of interest on the DXY. It's just something I am aware of. So moving on to the next trade, that is my GE trade at the moment, slightly in profit. I'm in USD CAD. This is doing great. Again, when I put the pending on this, I think I was at work when I put the pending on. I saw this huge sell, and I thought, oh, I'll just retrace the neckline of this swing. You can see it's probably like a little support resistance play here. It literally just tapped me in and fell off. So If I was any tighter with that, then I would have just missed the trade, and obviously this wouldn't be on. But so far, this is going great, and I have trailed my stop loss into profit, only a small profit. But at least my ass is covered, and risk is now reduced and taken off the table. My other trade that you guys know I'm in, and I've just entered in another trade, is USD Swissy. Again, playing the retracement on a DXY. If you have a look at the DXY and then you have a look at the USD Swissy, they are basically the same move. So I go to the 8 hour time frame as well. So it's the same time frame on both. You can see steady up, push down, little push up, push down again. Now we're getting a little retracement up, push down, little retracement up, push down. Now we're getting a little retracement up, and hopefully we continue with a push down. Because at the moment, if I go on a 4 hour time frame, you can kind of see it better. What we are actually getting is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So potentially we're going to get a lower low. But time will tell, right? That might not happen. It could just shoot to the moon and I get stopped out. But looking at it, looking at the bearish volume, looking at the MACD indicator at the bottom, looking at the EMAs, we are crossing over. So it's showing me bearish momentum to the downside. And let's not forget the point of interest that I'm targeting on both of them, right? I'm targeting this daily point of interest. Same, well, this is an 8 hour point of interest, but within a daily point of interest. So by looking at the charts, it makes a lot of sense. So when I got my first 20k funded, this is where I entered that trade. Again, I'll give you a screenshot, I'll pop it up so you can see that I have entered that trade. And I've entered this on my 10k. Those are my trades. I've got, as I said, really quick recap: USD Swissy in a sell, USD CAD in a sell with stop loss reduced into profit. Like, hopefully, this doesn't just sweep up, take me out, and continue down. But I am fully aware of that. It's just the fact that this has moved so much. I'm not just gonna let it just ride. If I go to the 8 hour time frame, we are in potential points of interest, but I still feel like there's a lot of movement to the downside, and price action is slowly showing me that. Again, as I said in USD Swissy, MACDs have crossed over. Momentum is still pushing strongly to the downside. So everything about this is telling me we are continuing to the downside. I'm just slightly, defending my ass here. And again, we're same with GU, right? MACD, momentum to the upside, crossovers. So everyone trades differently. I just like to use momentum on a higher time frame. And obviously these EMAs are the same as these EMAs. So it's kind of like giving me the same idea of like what the hell's going on. And yeah, so that's basically it for my trades at the moment. As I said, I'm waiting till midnight to pass the other 20k, so then that will be 50k in funding. Okay, it's the 13th of November, roughly 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm trying to think of the updates that I've done for you previously. I was in USD CAD, USD Swissy, and GU. So all those trades have now closed. So I just want to update you on those trades. So USD CAD has just hit my trailing stop loss. I'll put a screenshot up of the screen now to show you where it's been taken out. But if I just go down to the 4 hour time frame, you can see all I was doing was trading the highs. Reason being, it was reacting off this minor point of interest. If you look on the left hand side of the screen, you can see that now the DXY is in my point of interest. Now, the question is, will this hold? So basically, is USD CAD going to continue to sell? Obviously, USD Swissy hit my overall TP. It's now in my point of interest here. So if this breaks, then really I can see price potentially moving a lot lower. So if I scroll down, you can see potentially that it could be coming after these lows down here, right? Around 0.78281. That could happen. So in my head, I'm thinking, right, if that's happening, and if I look on the DXY, then potentially we could be coming down to this point of interest down here on the daily time frame. So if this breaks, then potentially we could be looking for a retracement to this point of interest and then continue selling onwards. But time will tell. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens, depending on the dollar. And the news that comes out of it today was CPI for the dollar, so there is high volume. So that could be the reason. But again, this candle needs to close convincingly bearish, and obviously this needs to definitely get violated. If not, then at the very least, I can see that this low here being broken. And if that happens, then obviously USD CAD, USD Swissy is going to continue to the downside, which also means GU is going to continue to the upside. Now, if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to know that I got out of this trade when I got out of it yesterday because it was closing bearish. So you'll be able to see that. Basically, I didn't like how price was reacting in this area. It wasn't really pushing up. It was just coming down quite aggressively. Obviously, now hindsight says it came back. So I closed for a 0.5% loss, but it doesn't matter. Overall, we're winning on the account, and I'll go over the back end of 5%ers in a bit. So you can see everything that I've done because at the moment we're just waiting for payouts, and I'll be going over what's happening with my accounts at the same time. So GU, I'm potentially seeing another entry on this. As I said, I closed out for this one for 0.5% loss, so that doesn't matter anymore. However, potentially I'm seeing an entry around here on the daily time frame. If the DXY continues to go bearish though, I can see retracement and then push up. That's what I can see. So again, this area of demand here. So if that happens, then great because now we can see on a 4 hour time frame we're getting bullish structure. So we broke this high. So we got higher high, higher low. Now we're making a higher high. So all I'm thinking is higher low, higher high, and then let's see what happens because that area of supply up there is just screaming at me. A lot of sales happen, so I wouldn't be surprised if price wants to go back to that area, but only time will tell. So when this candle closes at like 11 o'clock tonight, if it closes like this, I will be putting a pending here for a buy limit and then seeing what happens because I can get a nice 1 to 2 roughly in this area. If I want to play extra safe, I could do it slightly below that area of supply and look for like a 1.8, which is again completely fine with me. Because if the DXY keeps playing like this, then potentially, because that's quite an aggressive sell-off. It's not as if it's a light sell-off. It was slowing down here, slowing down, and then bang. So depending how that candle reacts is depending how I will play this card here. EU is kind of blown past my point of interest already, so that gives me more confidence that GU will go to the upside. AU again is reacting my point of interest, so I'm going to hold fire on that. NU again still hasn't got up there. So like GU, it is a little bit delayed. So there could be some lower time frame plays on NU to that point of interest. The only sort of play that I'll be looking at would be something along the lines of this. Um, Maybe this to get at least almost a 1 to 2. If I go to 8 hour time frame, you can see the point of interest that I'll be targeting with this one up here. I do think that is possible. And again, still give myself like 42 pips of stop loss wiggle room to play with. I can't see much room for it to go any lower than this unless it just continues to drop to the downside from here. But as you can see, momentum is up, divergence is up. So for me, this is kind of a safe play for price to continue to go to the upside if the DXY continues to go to the downside. Because if I then look at the currencies or the futures of the New Zealand dollar. Again, we're going towards that point of interest. So I get the 8 hour time frame. You can see my area supply that I'm aiming for. Aussie is already in that area supply, so it's no trade for me there. CAD hasn't reached that area supply, so it could continue to push to the downside on the USD CAD and the pound. Again, not near my area of supply. So again, that could be the play for me next is a buy on GU to again potentially play the sales of the DXY if it closes well tonight, and then I'll set my buy limit pendings. But that'll be for a different video, I think, 'cause this is already going on quite some time. Again, EU is up there, and Swiss franc is in my point of interest. So that's why I closed, well, had my TP on USD Swissy in this area. But if it's a strong violation to the downside, just go to the weekly, just try and see. We do have a point of interest here on the Swiss franc with this area of supply. So this might be like a continue to the downside and then a retracement play to continue lower to break the swing low. That could happen. But again, time will tell. I'm going to set an alarm for this area just to be aware of it. So let me just delete this one because I recorded it now. And again, it is on my Instagram. I'll put the link in the description below. And that is now my new area of supply that I just want to pay attention to. and see what happens next, to be honest, because I won't be surprised if this breaks and DXY breaks and we're on for beautiful sales to the downside. Again, area of supply for the USD CAD never came back in there. I wouldn't be surprised now if we get a retracement hit and continue to this area down here, which we haven't hit yet, right? Or it's going to bounce between the two. Again, with trading, you just never know. Anything could happen at the moment. So I'm sitting out of this. The only one that I'm really interested in next is GU. This is your cleanest one, especially futures wise, DXY wise, and obviously the currency pair wise. It seems to be the cleanest. So I might enter this one. However, it won't be on any of my accounts now because I'm waiting for payouts. So if I go to the 5%ers, these are my accounts. One is disabled. So what I've learned and what I've got back from the team, and again, I'll put a screenshot on the screen of what they said, is I can have one 5K account, one 20K account, well, one 5K on its own, either a 10K and 20K on its own, and either a 60K or 100K on its own. So the max I can actually get in funding that's active at the same time is 165K. At the moment, I've got two 20s and a 10, so I've funded 50K, but I can only have a 20K and a 10K active at the same time. So what I want to do is do a 60K challenge, get that up and funded, then I'll disable the 10K. Obviously, I'm going to get payouts on this one because I'm waiting for, if I click on my 10K, you can see profit 692. So I've got to wait 2 weeks, get the payout on this account, which will be whatever it will be, whatever the profit split is. Does it say what's down here? Profit factor. Well, let's just go through the stats on this account so far because it's quite a good thing being a funded account rather than it being like a challenge or phase one or phase two. So if you have a look here, total trades 3, profitable trades 2, active loss 1, which will be the GU trade that I closed for a buy, as you see there, at 0.5%. So not a big deal. Closed that one off, and obviously we got a great 4.4% trade on USD Swissy and 2.28% win on USD CAD, which finished today. So long story short, we have win rate of 66%. Again, very happy. Anywhere between 50 and 60%, super happy with. Profit factor of 12, fantastic. And what's the average RR? Does it say? Doesn't really say my average RR. Or am I being blind? Let me know in the comment box down below if I am being blind. Expectancy. No, no, no. I don't know what my average RR is on this from the stats I can see, but it's roughly between 1 to 1.5 and 1 to 2. It's between that sort of realm. But going off this data, so I'm waiting for a payout on that one. If I go back and then I go to my 20K, I'm waiting for a payout on this one. It was just one trade that I did. It was, what's it, 4% roughly. P&L 668. Obviously, with the refund you get from doing the challenge as well, you get $165 credit on top of that. So hence why it's 833. So I'm waiting 2 weeks again for this payout to come through. Then I'll start trading on this account again. But I'm not going to force trades on this account to try and get more. It's just not necessary. I don't need to. Don't need to worry about that. I just want to get the payout, get my refund, and now I'm completely risk-free on the 20K and the 10K. As I said, the 20K at the moment is disabled just because I can't have two 20Ks active at the same time. It has to be different. Don't know why. That's just their rules. So again, my plan is do a 60K challenge, get funded on that, disable the 10K. Then I'll have 20K and 10K to play with 30K in backup for a temporarily disable the accounts. And then I'll do a 100K challenge. If I pass that, then I'll have a 60K and 100K challenge. I'll be 160K funded. However, I will still have 50K in funding as a reserve just in case I blow one of those accounts, right? So I can make active again because they're only temporarily disabled. So that's what I'm going to do with the 5%ers along with doing FTMOs at the same time. But at the moment, I just want to focus on 5%ers. I just like them. I like everything to do at the moment. And I can't really complain about everything they do. So that's the update at the moment. As I said, it is 13th of November. I can't see much else happening here. Again, if the DXY closes with a huge wick, then I won't be entering GU. But if it does close like this and it can see a push to the downside, then maybe tonight at 11 o'clock I could be placing a buy limit, or I might wait till Monday and see how Friday closes. But other than that, guys, that's all I've got. Okay, so that's the end of the video. There's no point me going on. It's already like 40 odd minutes. I'm just editing it now. So yeah, so far I've got 50k in funding, and to celebrate one of them, I got this awesome plaque. So if you haven't seen the sexy little video I did of this, unboxing it, have a look on my Instagram because it is really cool. I got this from Funded Award. So you can just send them your certificates and they'll turn it into an award, which I think is really cool because it's so hard to get funded, let alone funded and then get a payout as well. It's really hard to do. So I think it's a great way to celebrate your little wins, your little milestones. Because don't forget, not everyone gets funded, not everyone gets payouts. So the fact that you can celebrate in a cool way rather than just have a PDF makes it a little bit more special. But if you like this video so far, guys, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment box down below what you want to see or where you want us to go. But so far, I'm enjoying just documenting what I'm doing. It's definitely more my style. So if you agree with that, let me know. I'll see you on the next one.